Alright, this is another free thought exercise. Because yesterday I felt so good after the last one. So basically I'm just going to say whatever pops into my head. Oh, I see there's a light bulb. Makes me think of a kitchen. I guess I'm looking at my kitchen. Cat just jumped in. There's not much coming to my mind. I've been having kind of a goodish day. I feel kind of embarrassed and on the spot right now because I feel like I should have something to say, but I've been feeling kind of relaxed in a way, which it doesn't add up totally because my body has been behaving like in an anxious fashion. I didn't sleep well last night. And I tried to take a nap today and I didn't sleep well. I think it's because of the caffeine. Because I had coffee this morning and I had dark chocolate at night. I think dark chocolate has caffeine. Gee whiz, not much is coming. But that's okay. Bored. I feel a little bored. Boredom is good. On the other side of boredom, that's when you get to all creativity and everything else. I feel kind of, I don't know, useless is not the right word, but I feel kind of like, I don't know. Ow, my eye hurts. I just feel like all the words that are popping into my head are like defective, broken. I don't know. They don't fit though. I feel like I should be more for people. Like, when people come up and they ask and they always are so cheery, they're always like, "Hi, how are you?" Like, you're supposed to say, "Good, I just went and won a dog show. I just went and painted my car." And then they say, "Oh, really? Oh, that's great." And like, you're just supposed to have that endlessly. That's how it seems to me, which maybe is not true. But I just feel like that bothers me so much. Yeah, I don't like people like always like digging and prying. Although recently, I heard from my therapist that I could say I'm under a lot of stress. Or what did she say? It's like there's a lot of, my life hasn't been easy. I'm under a lot of stress, but I don't want to talk about it. It was something like that. It was like, life hasn't been easy for me and I'm under a lot of stress, but I don't want to talk about it. And I was like, whoa, okay, that's a good one. I could say that. I'm under a lot of stress. Life hasn't been easy, but I don't want to talk about it. Trying to practice that. I'm under a lot of stress. Life hasn't been easy, but I don't want to talk about it. Because people are always like, whenever you say like anything that isn't like super cheery or whatever, And sometimes I just think it's me. That's what I don't like, is when I think it's like just me. Like there's something completely wrong with me because people are always expecting something bad, and I don't know if I'm just like taking that on truly, like that's not really true, like for me. Like I'm just kind of like taking that on for some reason, because like personally, like I know, like we're all sinners, we're all struggling, we're all dealing with stuff, and I feel like you can see it in people's eyes. Like you can see like the little red lines in their eyes from, I think that's from stress, and you can see like the bags under people's eyes. Like everyone's got something that they could talk about for a long time like this. It's just, I don't know, like we don't do that as much. And like, I don't know, it just makes me so uncomfortable. Like the pretense makes me so uncomfortable. And I do think there's a lot of pretense. Like I'm really happy that Trump got in, because he's just like so direct and so like just says basically like the stuff that other people beat around the bush about. And I know that a lot of people don't like him, but at least there's honesty that comes out because of it. Like either you like him or you don't like him, and both of those are honest. You know, I prefer that. I prefer like a little bit of honesty, because the pretense I don't like is just like when you have to just hear someone talk about like all these like how great everything is, and like describing great things and describing new things, and but I don't know, you can never tell if it's like, I don't know why I get a weird feeling from that. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like honest or something. I don't know, just I get so bothered by I don't know why I'm getting so bothered by that dishonesty. Like maybe I should just be more relaxed. Well, anyway, now I don't know what to say again. My brain has felt like half numbed. One thing about what I experience with like Cptsd is that I feel like numb. Like sometimes I feel like yeah, I just feel numb. Like I don't really understand exactly what you're supposed to feel, like what an average person feels. But sometimes I just feel numb. But yeah, I think that's just part of CPTSD and like sexual abuse. I got sexually abused, so I think that partly makes you feel numb too. Especially around like your pelvis. It's kind of where I feel numb, I think, too. But I've been doing like more grounding, where you just kind of like feel your feet on the ground, feel what's around you, feel the different things in your environment, feel your legs, notice your butt on the chair, notice the sounds, notice what you taste in your mouth, if you taste anything. Notice any smells. And then just kind of relax into your body and feel like in your body. Know that it's okay to feel in your body. And yeah, I've been actually doing that more. And I know it's kind of can be scary for some people to feel in their body. Honestly, I think it's kind of scary for me to feel in my body sometimes. But I'm trying to get more used to feeling just relaxed in my body, more grounded in the present moment, so I don't feel triggered. Grounding. I'm supposed to be grounding every 2 hours, which seems pretty often. And when I do this stuff, like, when I do anything there's a huge part of me that, like, criticizes myself. Well, I don't know if it's a huge part, but it's a part of me that will criticize myself when I do stuff. It says, like, I sound stupid, I sound gay, I sound like a faggot, a pussy, an N-word, I don't know. I have such a bad critic. Like, I even feel bad for just saying those things. But, yeah, that's how it was when I grew up. Like, people were really mean when I grew up. But yeah, a lot of that's bullying. Where I get confused, and I'm super afraid to talk about this topic, but where I get confused is about, like, what is real, like, and I sort of know at this point, but I just still feel like I'm not allowed to talk about it because other people will get triggered. Like, from my perspective, like, there's something, yeah, I'm afraid to even say, but I think it takes courage to say. Like, there's obviously differences between groups of people. You know, it's not just skin color. I just think that everybody is equal under God, and that's how I think about it. But people are different, obviously, and not just on an individual level, but on a group level as well. And this is shown to be true in studies on IQ, and then people sometimes get mad at the study, say it's not measuring, they'll get mad at the validity of it. And then there's also differences in, like, skeletal structure, bone structure, and, like, not all of them, I don't know, it's so weird. You just cannot, it's such a minefield. You cannot even hardly bring up this topic. And, like, it makes certain groups of people more, like, you can't even really say advantaged because we're all equal under God, but, like, it will make you better at sports, you know. People from Kenya can run farther distances and for longer, you know, like, people with red hair and freckles can take more pain. This is proven. I just think it's such a touchy topic, and, like, depending on who you talk to, people will get so offended, so super offended so quickly and put their back against the wall. And, like, that is the type of person and the type of, like, thing that I'm so exhausted by that. Like, it actually makes me physically like cringe and like, ugh, I just don't want to deal with that because it's so like, like I don't know, woke or what, but like I didn't say anyone's better or worse. It's like we're all equal under God. That's what I think. But I do think there's differences. It's like scientifically shown. Like you can't say there's not. So I don't know. It's just weird. And then the other one that makes me super like I don't know, upset that I can't talk about it is like the stuff that's going on with like Jewish people. Like you can't say anything. Like people get so, it's just such a hot button topic too. Like you can't say anything. I don't know what to say. All we can do is like pray for them because they believe in like the Old Testament, but they don't believe in Jesus. They don't believe that Jesus like is the Messiah and is God. It's hard to really even put all Jews into the same bucket because I don't know enough about all Jews, but I do know that if you follow what they say in their holy books, like they say some stuff that it's like surprising that people don't talk about it at all. They say like Jesus should be in hell for eternity in a boiling pot of excrement or something. And then some people say like, oh, this is only just a conspiracy or whatever, but like if you look in their books, they say all kind of stuff about certain topics that I don't even know. I just feel like it's such a hot button thing that you can't even really say anything about it. Like people get so mad. And yeah, but I do think it's good to say something like free speech, you know, respectful and like I don't know. I just feel like I'm not allowed to even say anything. It's weird. But if it goes against like what I believe, then I have to at least say like, well, I believe differently, you know? So anyway. It's really a tough topic too. It will make a lot of people mad at you. But yeah, there's a lot of contradictions going on in society that you're like, you basically just get labeled instantly if you bring them up. Like you'll get labeled like a conspiracy theorist, anti-Semitic, racist, homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic. Like it's just got everybody so silenced and like on edge as well. Like the woke propaganda or wokeness, because basically like we're all afraid to be labeled as one of those things. Like most of us are afraid to be labeled as one of those things, and then we're all like, I don't know, like wanting to talk about like something. Like a lot of people are like really scornful, I noticed, especially around COVID. People got really nasty to each other, and it basically just like it put people into like different camps, I guess you could say, of like vax, like trust the science, and then anti-vaxxer, and then blah blah blah, and then, but like a lot of it just took energy out of everybody. Like it made everybody like kind of, I don't know if crazy or cuckoo is the right word, but it just it it did a lot of damage basically socially to people, I think. And it just sucks, like not being able to talk about anything, or if you are gonna bring something up, right away someone gets really upset and sucks up all the air in the room and goes on a rant. Like I just feel like, I don't know, the internet or whatever, like this whole idea about narratives and that, like it is so strong. Like those get stuck in my head too. I don't know, maybe it gets stuck in other people's heads, but yeah. I think old people as well who watch the news, it gets stuck in their heads a lot. Like narratives and stuff. Left wing, right wing narratives get stuck in people's heads. And like there is actually just so much that it's kind of hard to do all the work for yourself, so it's like easier, and it fulfills like people's needs to be heard and to have like an opinion and to be part of a conversation, to just have like a quick thing to say that they heard on the news. Like today, after church, someone was saying like, oh, they're going in and they're slashing everything in the US government. Like they're cutting out all the funding. You don't just go cut out all the funding. It's not how you do it. And like I was like, they're not doing it like that. You know, like they are cutting funding, but they're going through it methodically. Like I'm talking about the whole Doge, Department of Government Efficiency thing, and like, yeah, I just feel like I don't know, conversation is like hard to come by, and like good conversation, I guess. But then who am I to say like what is good? Like I only know what a good conversation is for me, and that's like when we get to, I don't know, say what we think, I guess. And people don't feel like they can't say what they think. But I guess that's a double-edged sword. But something I think that really helps, like I think that basically is so important is actually group thinking. Like thinking by yourself, okay, that's good, you know, especially if you've only been part of a group and only thought with other people, you know, get some time to think about yourself. But personally, I've mostly just thought by myself. And I think that something I kind of learned is that group agreement is super important. And this is like backed up by, there's like some book called I don't know if it's like called Herd Mentality or the Bell Curve. I think it's the Bell Curve, actually. But it's kind of like the average, like the group has wisdom. you know, like there's wisdom in the group. So I think that like having discussions and stuff, like it actually is helpful, and like we don't have all the answers on our own either, you know? Like for me, especially because I've been bullied so hard, and like I have like Cptsd because of like how I was raised, and like, oh my gosh, and it's made socializing so difficult. I think that shoot, where was I going with that? I forget. But I think what I was trying to say was that something about the group is really important. Like that's how a lot of stuff actually kind of gets done. Even though we emphasize individuals a lot, I think that group stuff is important. And that like a group decision is super important, and it can kind of make a lot of change and get through a lot of stuff. You know, I think that's true. But yeah, I'm just kind of my brain's not working so great today, even though I don't feel so bad. I watched a video, or I listened to the podcast by Huberman on emotions and relationships, and he was talking about attachment, and he was talking about emotion, and I liked it because it kind of filled in a gap I had with attachment. He was talking about the strange situation. He was talking about different types of attachment styles, and he was saying, oh yeah, about ambivalent attachment. And for the longest time I thought like, oh, I have like disorganized attachment, which is the combination of anxious and avoidant. Because it was funny, he didn't even bring up anxious, I don't think, attachment, but he brought up ambivalent and avoidant and disorganized. But the ambivalent one, I kind of felt like, oh, that's a little bit like me, because those babies in the strange situation, basically they had their caregiver leave the room and then come back and see how the baby reacted. And basically the group of babies that was kind of angry or annoyed with their caregiver, that kind of sounded like me, because I don't know, I still feel angry or annoyed sometimes with my family and with people, because I don't know exactly why. But like I do feel like just like an expectation that I don't know how to meet. That I'm supposed to feel some way that I don't know how to feel. Like I said earlier, sometimes I feel like I don't feel hardly anything. But anyway, in this, this recording these vlogs is really good for me, because I'm actually getting a chance to talk. But in the episode by Huberman, he also talked about emotions, and so I thought that was helpful, because he was talking about like tuning into your whether you're alert or you're calm. And that's one axis of emotion. And tuning into your your valence, like your affect, whether you feel I think he said good or bad, but it's or like pleasant or an unpleasant kind of thing. So like let me try right now. Oh, and then the other one was interoceptive versus exteroceptive, but he said that there's others on top of that. But he went with those three. And so let's see. Interoceptive, I can feel kind of like I might have to go to the bathroom soon. I feel like my stomach kind of hurts. I feel kind of... Oh yeah, and he was talking about like... Oh, when he was talking about the babies, he was talking about anxiety. It's just making me think. Anxiety. He was saying that like the baby experiences like unpleasant emotions as anxiety, like when it's hungry, when it wants connection, when it's too hot, and then it will make noise, like cry, or it will make smaller noise, like a coo sound, or and it does these things, and it's learning the response from the environment, from like its mother or its caregiver. And like I mean, kind of like my cat right now a little bit. He learns the response of when he comes over, I'll touch him. I'll give him a pat. But the baby learns these things, and so it experiences anxiety when something's like, when it feels unpleasant, and then it does something, and it starts to learn like what the response will be when it does those things. So that's a lot of how attachment is formed. And gee, that's just making me think a lot right now. And then the other parts of attachment was gaze, so like eye contact, like looking into someone's eyes is part of attachment, and touch, and vocalization, or like the tone of your voice, and I think there was one more. Gosh, what was it? Well, anyways, there was one more. And so there was like 4 things. I can only remember 3. But these were... Oh, those were like... Yeah, those were the basis of a secure attachment. Those things. I kind of want to get that last one. Hold on. The last one is emotion or affect. So it was gaze, vocalization, what we say, how we say it, affect or emotion, smiling or crying, and touch. So those are the 4 things that make up all social attachments, like our social attachments, like what would make up a secure attachment. I'm curious about like how I can like build more of that for myself. Um, yeah. But yeah, that was interesting as well. Um, I always thought like it always stood out to me. Um, the what we say and how we say it thing, because I'm always concerned about what we say, and I don't really care too much about how we say it. But now I realize, like, actually, oh yeah, it's important how you say something. Like, you can say a true fact, but if your voice is like, this is a true fact, or if your voice is, this is a true fact, it actually makes a difference. So, yeah, it's important. Um, and I'm pretty bad at the how we say it thing. Like, I always kind of like get suspicious when people are talking all like soft to me, you know? I think that suspicion comes from just I've been hurt by so many people who had smiles on their faces, like scammers and like I don't know, my parents, you know. Um, so it just never added up. But that doesn't mean I should throw it all away, I guess. Oh, and the other thing, the last thing, um, before I run out of time on this video, is we're always looking for a match. We're always evaluating a match when we are talking to someone or in a social situation. We're basically evaluating a match between us and them. Like, yeah. I think I do put a lot of emphasis on the what we say when I'm looking for a match. Um, like I care about like what actual opinions you hold, but the how we say is important too. And I think for a lot of people, the how we say it and just like is super important because yeah, it just is. Um, so anyway, that's my free talk for today.